Hi all. Welcome to this much awaited session with R Balki. He needs no introduction, but we still managed to do one. So without taking any more time and putting you directly with Balki, here is my first question to you, Balki. You have this very rare ability to understand the pulse of the audience. You're behind some of the most popular ads that we have almost ever seen, with taglines such as "Daag achhe hain," "Jago re," "What an idea, Sir Ji." And in your field, you've actually been nicknamed as the Idea Man. What is the process you follow to achieve this connect with the audience? And is there a method to this ideation madness?
Uh, Let me tell you something. Hi, Sidhant, and thank you guys for having me here. Uh, the first thing is, I think it's very presumptuous of any of us to assume that we can understand anybody else. Like when if somebody kind of comes and tells you that I understand the pulse of the audience, it's a complete. I think it's absolutely rubbish because uh, it's very difficult to understand yourself throughout your life. You're trying to struggle and try and understand yourself. If you can't even understand yourself, what business do you have to kind of say that I understand a lot of people? I don't. The fact of the matter is, try and kind of figure out uh, what appeals to me. And I believe that most communicators, most people who want to be in the communication business, the first and primary requisite is the fact that they can represent a sizable part of the audience. They can have facets in them which are like a lot of people that we speak to, and we're pretty representative of the normal people. So I think most of the time I'm trying to just understand myself and write things that appeal to me. I don't know anybody else. So that's the trick I've always employed, and I don't think it's about taglines or whatever. Taglines are an encapsulation of a thought. It's got nothing. What people see is the end, expression of the thought. But it's the thought which is all about. How do you express something? The first thing in any communication is to kind of just be noticed. It's all about um, saying what you want to hear in the way you want, in a way that makes you hear it. I think that's what is really kind of key to communication. That's what I've always followed.
Got it. That's very interesting, Baki. So the next question is, personal to your life. The story goes that you applied to the Chennai Film Institute, but did not join because apparently you didn't like the panel. You later joined Gindi Engineering College, but dropped off to pursue advertising. And you ended up as the group chairman of Mullenlow Lintas. Not bad, people would say. So, how does one have such conviction in life to pursue their ideas and dreams?
Um, I really think it's more than conviction. It is I think about let's say lack of qualification. Is what I put it. I don't think I was qualified to do anything more than actually think of random ideas. And if there's a business that pays you to think of random ideas which can be used for their benefit, there's no bigger match than that. Yeah, find me the random ideas, get a bit of science, and that's a lot of common sense more than any great study. So I just felt I was naturally gravitating towards a business that required no qualification, of which I was a prime candidate. So that's how it really happened. And I really think that the thing of the Chennai Film Institute, yeah, a bit of it is true, but a lot of it is a joke because I think the Gindi Engineering College had a better cricket field, and I wanted to play a lot of cricket, and that's why I went there.
Awesome. I think you're just being a little too modest and kind to us, because the fable also is that you were part of the first experimental training batch by Mudra Communications. It's an experiment that led to the creation of India's finest advertising school, that is MICA in Ahmedabad. What is more interesting is the entry was through a 100-word essay, and you qualified among thousands, if not more, applicants. So, can you tell us what did you actually write in those 100 words?
I actually, it's the one. one piece of paper that I wish I could get back. I don't think I don't remember what I wrote. All I remember was the fact that I think I wrote something like the fact that I find life very boring and I find images a lot more interesting. I said something like that, and there was a genius on the other side who actually thought that I could become a writer or an advertising person, and I just wanted to do films, and I got addicted to advertising on the way. But I think the credit goes to more the person who kind of saw that this kind of a chaotic, unstructured, aimless kind of a person who is all over the place and who's so random could actually kind of think in a way that could benefit a lot of businesses. And I think credit goes to Naganand Kumar, who was the person who was heading the organizational development section of Mudra at that point in time, to identify people like us. Six of us were there and identify people like us. Each of us came from a very different background.
Interesting. Yeah, so Balki, that brings me to the next question, right? What aspects of storytelling can actually be taught? What are the aspects that come through experience, and what are the aspects that you just have to be born with?
These are, I think, millions of books have been written on this, and lots of people have had lots of theories on this one. Um, till today, I really think it's about um, waiting for lesser interesting stories to go out of your head and waiting for the more interesting ones to drop in. I think it's patience is one thing. Yes, you may suddenly observe something, suddenly you may crack an idea, suddenly you may get some inspiration, but it's waiting for that more than that, because a lot of crap first comes into your head, and it all depends on where you stop. I think what differentiates a good story and a bad story is where the storyteller stopped to pick the story. He said, say, okay, fine. There are many reasons why people choose stories. Some of them you may like, some of them you may not like, and you may figure out that you may have many reasons why the person chose to kind of find that story. But it's all about waiting for something that that you at least think, if not anybody else, at least you think is damn interesting to kind of go ahead. And I think that's the primary request. Yes, of course,
Nice.
life experiences, memory, imagination, connecting, and all those are kind of normal things for every storyteller, and everybody does it. Our grandmothers and mothers used to do it much better than us, and they used to tell it far more simply and far more rivetingly than us. But fundamentally, it's this.
Got it. Next question, Balki. You made some fabulous movies, Chini Kam, Pa, Shamita, Ki and Ka. And most interestingly, these are movies that you scripted, directed, even as you were the creative director and, say, the chairman of Low Lintas. One would have imagined that in a full time corporate role, such as the one that you were in, you would have very little time, especially to script such original stories on such hitherto untouched topics. And yesterday we had a panel of speakers trying to tell us that, with all this work from home and technology, each of us can actually do more than one job. I find that very hard to do personally. So I wanted to understand from you that you being the pioneer in this, how do you accomplish this? How do you do a full-time, high-stress role and also something so creative?
No, I don't think it's about stress or whatever. I just realized that I used to work 7 days a week uh, uh, in advertising and non-stop. And I said, okay, I'll work 5 days a week and I'll do Saturdays, Sundays, I'll write. And I realized that I was a lot more efficient working 5 days a week. It was not that, I think sometimes, work fills up the time that you have. You kind of stretch work to fill up the time that you have. Or you kind of, if you have a sharper deadline, sometimes it works better. For me, it worked to my advantage because I could easily do the 7 day work in the 5 day stuff. And I actually told everybody, please don't work on Saturdays, Sundays. It's actually damn good to kind of not work on Saturdays, Sundays. But I used to write on the weekends, so that was really a turning point for me.
Wow, that's interesting. You just very kindly told all of us to be more efficient.
I really think this working 24/7. I mean, I really think sometimes we can do a lot more. in a much shorter time. And it doesn't mean you got to do a lot more to fill up the extra time that you have. I think the extra time is to kind of enjoy the extra time.
Got it. So you went ahead and completely quit as the group chairman of Pull and Lintas in 2016. Now that films are your full-time pursuit, I imagine, what is it that you're trying to do differently?
Nothing, actually nothing. I've just gotten a little lazier because I have nothing to do for the 5 days of the week. I have only something to do for the 2 days of the week because that's what I kind of done. But I actually know I write a lot, and I kind of have a lot more time to watch things, read things, be at home with my wife and my cats, and I think um, I actually am a lot more easy right now. Though, yeah, when I start a film, though I write a lot, but when I start a film, yeah, it's the same kind of chaos as it is in an advertising agency, if not more, because it's pretty chaotic once it begins. But between films, I'm relatively easy.
Perfect. How do you plan now? So you used to do like one film in a couple of years. Do you plan to increase on that? Do you plan to scale on your writing and on your production?
No, I don't think so because I come from a belief that it's much more joyful watching a film than making one. So I love watching films. I mean, why make something which doesn't give you the same joy as all the things that you watch? Till an idea kind of hits me where I find the same joy, at least, where I at least find the same joy as in watching, I don't move ahead. So I'm a very reluctant beginner. I'm not in a rush to kind of do something. Yeah, sometimes I might have three films that I want to do one after the other. But the last film I did was Padman, which is about 2000, I think 17 or 18, I forget. It's quite about 2.5 years since I did the film. But though I produced Mission Mangal in between for my colleague, and co-wrote it. But most of the time, I'm just reluctant to start. I mean, reluctant to start. And of course, these times, everybody's reluctant to start. But I think it takes a big push. I live with an idea for a long time before I start writing it. But once I finish the script, I never write a script that I don't want to do. I don't write a script and figure it out. I think of the idea and I write the script if I'm sure I'm doing it.
Okay. So, Balki, I have to ask you this question. Almost everybody I know has asked me to ask you this. We've all heard you say that the legendary Ilaiyaraaja and Amitabh Bachchan were your original inspirations to get into the film industry. But what really beats me and astonishes all of us is how do you actually get both Amitabh Bachchan and Ilaiyaraaja to be part of your debut film?
Um, uh, it's just pure luck. Um, I just had a thought. I messaged Amit Ji. He was interested, and we'd just done one ad together. It was one of his first ads after his comeback, which was on Parker Pens. So I messaged him. I said, if you like the idea, I'll write it. He said, I like the idea. I wrote it. He read the script. He said, let's do it. It just happened like that. I was damn lucky, and I don't think a lot of people are as lucky as I am. And Raja sir too is the same thing. I went to him as a fan and I said, "Sir, I'm Balki. I've never met him before." I said, "Besides being a huge fan of your music, which I am, um, I would like you to do my film." He just looked at me, smiled, and said, "Of course, sit down. Let's talk." It just happened like that, and I think I was blessed to kind of meet two people who I till today find more inspirational than anybody else in the world. I think these two people have really inspired me for a lot of reasons, just not for their work. It's also for the way they are, the conviction in what they do, and even in terms of the kind of human beings they are, and it's quite interesting to kind of be with people at that kind of level. It's really I'm really lucky.
Wow. So the one of the other things that I got was, did you write a script for Amit ji, or was it the other way around? Did you impress him with the script?
No. I wrote it for him. I thought of him, and I
Okay.
said I need an idea for Amitji and Tabu. In fact, I wrote it for Amitji and Tabu. So if they hadn't kind of done it, I couldn't have done the film. And the same thing with Pa. I wrote it for Amitji, Abhishek, and Vidya. And if they hadn't done it, I couldn't have done the film. So those two films, I didn't have any options but the characters I wrote it for. And
Great.
in fact, the maneuvering that Amitji and I have done to get Abhishek on board on Pa is phenomenal, because he was saying, "How can I play my dad's dad?" I mean, a lot of things. I mean, it's like it was this thing. So finally, we kind of convinced him to kind of do it. So yeah, but I didn't write it for anybody else, just for them.
Okay, perfect. And also, the other thing is, I think one of the key takeaways for all of us is we kind of plan people, roles, and then get people, but this is the other way around. Some food for thought for all of us corporate folks. The second, just in line with that, is you also not just worked with Amitabh, right? You worked with a plethora of different types of highly accomplished actors, including Devi and Tanush and Akshay. And I'm sure each of these people have their own styles, their idiosyncrasies. How does one go about working with different type of talent? And I'm sure you've done that in your career as well. How do you identify, how do you work so well with them so that the idea comes out very clearly?
Firstly, I've worked with Sridevi as a co-producer on English to English. My wife did the film. But I think this thing of idiosyncrasy is the wrong word. I don't think any human being has more idiosyncrasies than one has themselves. I have more idiosyncrasies than everybody put together, because I know my idiosyncrasies. I don't even know about this. So it's kind of wrong to assume that people have idiosyncrasies and we have to manage them. First, I don't think I'm here to manage anybody. I'm here to kind of react, respond, answer. The relationship is one of understanding. Okay, we're trying to do something here together. It's not I'm trying to outwit you or you're trying to outwit me. It's about just getting together and doing that thing really well. So I am not here to manage anybody's idiosyncrasies, and neither are they. We're here to make use of each other's abilities to create something that is interesting, and it's worth spending the time together. I think if you approach anything with that in any organization, including when I was at Lowland Test, it's not about managing people's idiosyncrasies. It's about uh, almost saying that nothing should come in the way. You manage anything because it shouldn't come in the way of the business that you're doing, or something that you're creating. So everything is managed for a purpose. It is so that the things that we came together for continue being smoother and nicer to kind of create than anything else. So I always look at a situation only from that point of view, not to manage anything else. I don't.
Wow, okay, that's a good point. So one of the things that I had to ask you, Balki, and we discussed this, and that's the reason I'm wearing what I'm wearing. So what do you think is common between, and this is to the audience, and you can reply in YouTube comments. What do you think is common between Karl Lagerfeld of Chanel fame, if you don't know him, Michael Kors, Tom Ford, Adele, and Balki?
No,
Well,
I know you're
it is
talking of the
their
color black. I know
well, it
you're
is
talking of
their
the color
penchant.
black.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
but
Balki.
but I know you're talking about the color black, but I would actually would love Karl Lagerfeld's you know the kind of longer coats that he kind of designs, the longer jackets that he designs. I would like my black to be that. I really still haven't got the right kind of a black, a semi-long coat. It's slightly longer than most of the coats, Lagerfeld's coats, and I really would love that. Otherwise, there's nothing else common.
So one of the things that I was thinking is it about consistency in your own positioning, or say for a company, is it important to have something so consistent in the way they do it that I mean, at the cost of just being trite? Is that something that goes behind your thinking?
Not at all. It's pure laziness. It's just, I think first, black is kind of so convenient. I've got hundreds of black t-shirts. I only buy black only because it's easier to choose. I just pick out any one of those stuff. And it just saves me a lot from thinking about it. And also, when I put on weight, which I do every now and then, and my stomach doesn't show, it makes you look a little slimmer. So black is kind of convenient in a lot of ways. And it's universal. Nobody questions you when you're wearing black. um, and I think it's just the most neutral thing that you can get, and the easiest thing for lazy people. And I am very lazy, and that's the only thing. There's nothing about branding or whatever. I never thought of it for 1 minute. Sometimes most of these laziness is what becomes identities, I suppose.
Okay. Thanks, Balki. So I just have two questions. Movies almost always have a very different theme. Is that something that you think about consciously, or is it about building some awareness for overall social cause? What goes behind that?
No, I don't believe in social causes like that because we live in society and we are responsible for society. So that's the cause we kind of live in. For number one, so my job is to actually try my best. We keep borrowing from society. We keep at least from the society around us, from the near society around. I can't talk for the whole globe, but we keep borrowing, and yes, we keep borrowing. But sometimes it might be nice to kind of just give back to, something for. It could be a word, it could be a thought, it could be a way of being, it could be a character, it could be anything else. It could be a way of just gi- uh, adding to society rather than keep borrowing from it. My desire has always been to kind of, can I do that with this? Can I do this with this? Can I do with this? Because yes, even while doing that, you borrow a lot from society, but in that process, can you just put something back?
Got it. So, Balgi, my last question, and this is more, we are asking this because you're the grandmaster of storytelling and branding. And what we really wanted to understand is your message of how or what is the story that India should tell to change the course of its future, and what is the branding that overall India should try and achieve.
I think first we should get our product absolutely right, and then we
Okay.
should try and advertise it. Always, I think we need to get our product very, very right first. I would advise all clients always to get their product very right before branding and kind of advertising, because it is not easy, because we are a fantastic tourist destination. We've got such beautiful stuff, but we have to get our product right. We have to make tourism a lot more kind of friendly. Countries with even one-fourth our attractions kind of marketed. I mean, have got their product and their infrastructure so right. And there's a lot of things about India, and there's a lot of fantastic thing about Indianness. But I really think we have to get our act together on just simplifying a lot of things, getting a lot of things right, being a lot more transparent. And once we do that, I think it's not even so difficult. We are there. We're almost there. We're getting there. I think we should do this example of branding. Yes, while we think on this side, but we need to know what's the kind of brand that we want to kind of build, and actually and we should do that according to the product that we're trying to create, because you can't have one vision as a brand and one vision as a product and try and match the two. You can't do it. So I really think that branding thought should happen based on the product that can be realistically created, and that is being attempted. Because you're hearing a lot of things, so I really don't know exactly what is trying to be created. Because besides the economic part of it, we all want to be economic superpowers, but beyond that is what I mean.
Got it. Thank you so much, Balki. I think a lot of food for thought for all of us. I think what you meant was the wood behind the arrow is as important. You have to be consistent, clear, and also have the right product. And of course, a lot of other things that you told us today's session are very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Balki, for
Pleasure.
sharing your personal
Pleasure.
experiences. Yeah, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Please have a good
See you
day.
guys. Bye.
Yeah,
See ya.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.